Thoughts on Rubbish. This episode we ask what's in your rubbish. Contribute to putting out less rubbish and make the food you buy go further for your household. Hi, I'm Jess.
Hi, I'm Michael.
And today we're going to be exploring rubbish and beans in your household.
And what we're going to do is explore the question of how much rubbish do we produce in our households?
So how are we going to do that today?
Well, today we're going to focus on looking at beans as a way of really being able to examine how much rubbish would be produced between buying bulk and or buying in cans as you would normally from the supermarket.
Okay. Kidney beans.
Yeah, this really provides a great way for us to explore how much rubbish is produced in our kitchens. Because how would you normally buy kidney beans?
In a tin.
In a tin, yep. So in a tin, we do find ourselves having beans that are already pre-cooked and they are in a certain amount of liquids that are already in there as well. Kidney beans is a way for us to explore as a base.
As a base. And I'm certainly putting kidney beans before my journey with Our Kitchen, Our World through things as a filler, not as a base.
Okay. We can look at producing 3 different recipes for you with our different imagination elements.
Let's rock it out.
What I've done earlier is I have soaked some. Now, using the same principles that we're going to use consistently around soaking and making sure that we are able to really bring back the beans to life in this. And so half a jar and then add it into water. I thought what we could start with is the onion, some garlic.
And we're doing the base with this one.
This is the base, that's what we're going to do.
So with the base today, we are exploring it with onion, garlic and tomato.
That are such a great source of protein. They're loaded with calcium and they do offer us an antioxidant profile that's pretty good. Instead of being an accompanying dish, I think this first one what we're going to do is show people how it can really sit in as a main component of what we're going to eat.
When you're at the end of your weekly... When you're at the end of your weekly...
Your weekly shop.
Weekly shop.
When the fridge is running low.
And a quick, nice, easy feed.
That's right. So this is a great opportunity to really use up those beaten up tomatoes that you've had in the fridge for the week. You haven't wanted to put them into a salad because they do get quite soft and they can become just a little bit beaten up.
Bruised.
And dice. Pretty quick.
Because we're going to dice up that garlic?
Yeah, same, please. Because what we can do then is really just work with the heat in the beans and the onion as it cooks through, just to break it all down. So we don't even need to worry about coring them or taking them all out because we're just going to use the whole part.
We've just cooked those. You can cook that in a variety of different ways, either on the stovetop, in a slow cooker.
Yeah, I use a rice cooker as well.
Rice cooker. So there's lots of different ways that you can cook those.
So again, our goal here is to try and reduce the amount of rubbish we produce. So we're not only helping to reduce the amount of cans, but instead of buying a canned tomato, using up the older tomatoes so we don't throw them out.
Because, Michael, a lot of people would say, well, canned tomatoes are cheaper.
Yes.
So what would be our response to that, do you think?
Well, there's something about cheaper versus the quality of the nutrients that are in them as well. So for me, we can start to look at cost being the focus of our meals, or we can start to look at, well, what's the impact on the environment, as well as what the impact is with the amount of nutrients that we're doing. Because, I mean, if we're always eating out of canned foods, they're always cooked, and we're that so much further away from when they were originally in the ground. What do you reckon the differences are between a canned bean and the ones that we are playing with here today?
Well, I believe, after my learning and investigating, that canned beans have a high level of salt in them for preserving.
Right.
And whereas if we have them nice and fresh and soak and put the life back into them, that level of salt is reduced. So really powerful way to be in control of your salt consumption because we don't even know where the salt has come from.
That's true.
So very powerful way of being able to fix your wellness. If you're able to use fresh beans, and that's our challenge, is to be able to move into that usage, is being able to yield more food. So we're talking about savings and things like that. What I have discovered is that in a can, you're actually yielding less food. So in a jar where we've done it and we've soaked it, we can get up to 8 cups for the same original quantity. So really quite powerful in being able to feed all types of households, but particularly large ones.
Thought we could let that just quickly simmer and cook down. Now, one of the things that I've found with this base is that with the beans and the fresh tomato, you still can't go past a good tomato paste. So some people will make their own tomato paste I personally buy a good tomato paste, but I always buy one in a jar.
Okay.
Because I want to reuse the jar.
I want to reuse the jar. I actually make my own paste. I do.
Nice.
So I get my tomatoes when they are a bit manky as well.
Yeah.
And I will cook them down for a significant amount of time, and then I puree them, and then I'll cook them down again. It's certainly, I do a big batch, and then add the salt, and then put it in the jar in the fridge. We are going to do 3 dishes with this base.
What are we going to do with the base?
First one we're going to do today is a breakfast.
Okay.
So if I thought of beans, I thought of a beautiful protein dish that you can start at the beginning of the day.
Yep.
So let's try for doing a lovely omelette. I'm simply going to just whisk up those eggs.
And probably have a little bit left over that we can freeze and then we'll use again at another time.
Depending on how big our family feed is.
Well, that's true.
It is true.
Well, because we could really just put all that out and we'll see what's left and then freeze what's left.
So if you were thinking about a single household, that statement would certainly be very achievable. The freezing.
Yes.
But you know, if you are feeding a larger household, you might just want to do more of the bake.
If you're feeding a lot of animals, you do need to have a lot of food.
And depending on the household,
depending on the
time
household,
of the day,
that's right.
Yes.
But my dog, she doesn't really take that well to beans, so it's not one of those translatable dishes. Well, it's all about the imagination, as we talked about.
Now, what else we're going to need is some cheese for our omelette, because that is
cheese.
magic. So, and we've just got a combination here of cheeses of Tasty and Parmesan, I think, today.
Yeah.
But really, you can do whatever you prefer. And even admit it if you don't want the cheese, but it does make it very yummy. In my household, we just pop that in, and then we'll smash down some of the beans, throw the cheese on, flip it over.
Okay.
And
Would
then
you
it's there ready to go.
show me what you mean by smash down the beans?
I will. Show me.
Show me. Now, I might need a little bit more heat. What are the stories that you know about beans? Toot, toot, toot. Toot, toot, toot. Yeah.
But, you know, there is gaseous maximus.
That's
or
right.
Gas.
And that comes down to what we do with it in making sure that we soak it properly and then we cook them properly so that they don't ferment in the stomach. So it's really just part of the natural digestion process that happens, and it also is a good indicator as to what's happening with some people's balance in their own stomachs.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a powerful statement.
So it's not always about the beans and their fault. And am I doing just 1/2 so we can flip the fold over?
That's the idea.
That's lovely. Where would you get you're using dry beans now, yeah?
I am using dry beans now, which
where
is
do you
very
get them
exciting.
from?
I get mine either from, if I go into an organic store, or from my bulk buying group. And then they sit there, and then when I'm ready to do a beans dish, they're ready to go.
Well, they do live in the cupboard for a long time.
They do.
It's one of those things that do travel very well, and they do hang out in dark spaces for a long time.
They're very, very happy.
But that's why we soak them, because we can bring them back to life.
A bit of cheese on the top of the beans. And we're doing more spring onions.
I like the spring onion flavour.
That's not happy enough for you.
Excellent.
And there we go.
So now we've got that ready, looking spectacular. I'm going to just put it back on the heat for a little bit while we fold it over.
If you buy in bulk, you've got lots of them. So let's find out all these different ways that we can make them, and then all of the health benefits that come through with them. So yum.
So breakfast is done.
Yes.
Now, the kids have been out all day, or the household's been out working, or I've just got back from a week away, and we really need to just knock out something pretty quick, got no energy.
So let's do a quick feed.
Yeah, let's do a quick family feed.
Very easy nachos, where we're just going to pop those chippies on.
Well, there is a technique, isn't there?
Is there?
Well, I'm a big fan of layering cheese.
So cheese is okay.
Cheese, for me, in this moment, when you get back, you just look for something rich.
And we've got plenty.
And then we'll sit down, get dirty with our hands. I know. It's good, isn't it? What else? So what would we do with that now?
We'd put that in the oven and give that just a little wackadoodle in the oven.
Okay.
And we also throw a little bit of carrot on, and I'm just looking at the selection that we've got.
Okay.
And let's just rock it out with that.
Sounds good.
We will chop that up. So we just do a bit of a salad mix.
Yeah, and because the avocado works as a great way to just sort of bind all the bits together, doesn't it?
Yes.
And then you can also use it. Yep.
Because, you know, when we were talking about it's an all-in. It's a sharing the love of food.
It is an all-in. It is an all-in.
And just the freshness that you can have, and let's see what's in the cupboard. Often, if I ask my household what they want, this is a big let's go here.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it's the same. It's just so easy and it tastes spectacular. Yes. So it doesn't really matter how big your household is, what shape it is, size, the number of people, whether they're human, animals or other species of plants. I mean, I have a bonsai tree that, you know, pretty much has its own personality.
Does
anyway.
it really? Yeah. I'd like to meet that bonsai tree.
Well, yeah. I went away once and then I came back and it had lost all its leaves.
Oh, shame. It was a bit sad.
It went to another household.
Not mine.
No.
So I actually add a little bit of garlic and red onion.
Yes.
And a tomato to my guacamole. What do you do normally?
Well, I love the idea of garlic. That gives you a very good nutrient hit.
Of raw garlic.
Raw garlic.
Yes.
Raw garlic.
So not too much because you don't want to overpower. Depending on your household.
Depends. If you've just travelled and you need a good hit in the throat to make sure you kill off anything, that's what we sort of use it for. So what are you thinking about the rubbish that your household produces in relation to non-organic? Because we will work on talking about how much organic edible food that we waste.
Yes, and you know, when I think about the transformation in my household, even in a meal like this, traditionally you think of the taco kit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Think of even just a tin of beans.
Yes.
A tin of tomatoes.
Yes.
A thing of tomato paste. Package of cheese.
Yes.
All of those things that have been pre-cut and things.
Yeah.
So that's adding to all of my rubbish, and I'm reducing that now.
Yeah.
It's quite substantial.
Oh, would you mind getting the nachos out?
I would love to.
So I'm visualising the taco kit. I'm seeing a couple of cans, maybe a small can, plus the cheese wrapper and all the bits that come in. So it's something like this big pile of rubbish. And that actually, in the research, that does make up 64% of the average household's rubbish.
So if you could imagine every household actually reducing 5 kilos of rubbish a week, how would that look?
Well, take that out. We've just taken that whole pile of rubbish out of what we've just created.
That's a very exciting concept of being able to do that simply by using beans.
So, looking at the nacho chips.
Don't get that.
Well, I think there's actually something about if you have one burnt one, you know they're all done. Well, it's for the family, you know. It's that one thing you can see through the oven door that gives you the indicator of when you know it's really ready.
You are too funny.
I know. I thought it was very good. We don't want the avocado to brown. We want to get the flavour through. And we'll just put the rest of the onion and stuff in as well. So
we're going to throw that guacamole in there.
Yep, I reckon.
To share, and then we're going to pop the base with the added love that was the carrot and the capsicum.
We can just plop it next to it and we can then load it up for the kids in a bowl later. Yeah. So that becomes our family feed.
Yum.
I know, it's very good, isn't it?
Very, very good.
And we don't have that stack of taco kit and cans and tomatoes and all the bits that come with it.
It's beautiful, fresh,
lovely
raw,
food.
yummy ingredients.
Enjoying it. So we need to move on to Glamour Fab.
A beautiful lamb wrap. So we will pop that on in the oven, and while that's cooking we're also going to roast some tomatoes, and we're going to prep some zucchini to pop with that as well.
And my question is, well, if we're going to do lamb and zucchinis and tomatoes, should I think about order or...?
Yeah, let's pop the lamb in first to give it a really nice roast, and then the last 10 minutes or so I would pop in that zucchini and tomatoes.
Well, let me doing it too deep. I just really want to break the top up so it doesn't sort of shrivel together.
So we can get those flavours in as well.
That's right. And for me, if I'm going to eat meat, I would actually go for a lamb rack.
Would you?
Yeah, it's just one of those.
Is it because for you it's a bit of a tender flavour?
Well, and it's easier to digest. And just putting some little bit of this on. Great.
Look at that, already that exciting. So depending on the temperature of your oven, if it's a hot oven or a cool oven, anywhere from 180 to 200.
Okay.
How's that lamb rack going?
Lamb's okay.
All right, so maybe we will also, as we've opened up the oven, just give these tomatoes a little wash. So just giving it a different shape to what zucchini traditionally has been used for.
They look great, those slices.
Oh, aren't they ace?
Why do you put salt on them?
Oh, because I like them, the flavour. I like salt.
Okay.
So it's just a preference.
Yep.
It just brings the flavours out in the zucchini.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
And also caramelises a little bit for some reason. And we're going to just put a little bit of drizzle. Should we put balsamic on the zucchini or not?
No, I think let's test out your salted zucchini and see what it tastes
salted
like.
Zucchini.
I'll chuck this back
Throw that in. You don't want that to burn.
Yeah. I think this is looking good.
So we've got a beautiful bean puree that we just got out of that batch that we were doing and blitzed it up. So here we go.
Yeah, nice.
And now we're going to plate that up with our lamb and our zucchini and tomato.
Great. Get the lamb. What do you want to do?
I'll grab the plate.
And I'll get
you grab the lamb.
I was pointing and going to say, you can do this and I'll do that.
All right. So here we go.
The tomatoes have really softened up. They're starting to burst. So we can see they're just on perfect. We've put them in for too much longer, they would burn and they might pop, and then they shrivel.
So while we finish up with this one, Michael, what is our contribution to the world around our topic of rubbish and beans, do you think?
Well, our kitchen has just demonstrated that we do create a lot of rubbish just through some simple dishes. I mean, something like nachos is, something that's a staple. Now, by getting every household to make a few subtle changes of bulk buying their dry beans and then being able to mix them, soak them, reuse them, we're hoping to make our contribution to our world of a 5% reduction globally.
Which really isn't that much.
No, not...
If we do it simply by, instead of tacos or nachos, the traditional way around, go back to basics and use those beans and soak them and have gone that wonderful journey and look at what we've created in this episode.
It's perfect.
Fantastic.
So I reckon we have done.
I think we're finished. So happy cooking and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks. See ya.
Bye. Beans, baby. What a way to think about the rubbish our kitchens create. Grab some beans in bulk, soak them, and put your imagination to the recipe book. Get more info on the Research Bites. And really, it bites when you read the amount of rubbish households make. Let us know how you have reduced your rubbish on the community forum.